It's cold outside, but there's one Hokie that's getting hot at just the right time. Oh, it's not me, but I am going to head inside to get warm. Where was I? Ben Hammond. Let's take a step back, and I mean even before Hammond became a Hokie. Hammond was the point guard for an incredible Paul VI program who went 35-3 his senior year of high school.
Day one of the ACC men's basketball tournament is in the books in Charlotte. We had an instant classic, some dominant performances, and we now know what double-digit seeds could make some noise in this tournament. The Seminoles break the hearts of the Hokies on Valentine's Day as Florida State defeats Virginia Tech 92-69 inside of Castle Coliseum. Well, that's a lot harder than it looks, but lucky for you guys, it's not me that's doing the balancing. We have Tyler's amazing balancing act at Joe Faber Field tonight. Thanks, guys. Well, luckily for SMU and Syracuse, losing streaks are meant to be broken because neither team has won in over 2 weeks leading into this ACC tournament. But if the first matchup between the two squads was any preview, we might have a good one here in Charlotte. Duke stays unblemished in conference play despite a valiant effort from Virginia Tech as the Blue Devils defeat the Hokies 72-58 inside of Castle Coliseum. Who let the dogs out? You! It's Bark in the Park night at Joe Faber Field. 8-seed Florida State against 9-seed Cal. Florida State is red hot going into this matchup, having won 9 of their last 11 contests. In just a few minutes, these gates behind me are going to be flooded with fans of Duke, UVA, and others around the ACC. But although right now it's empty behind me, we have our own Robbie Ackerley out in the streets of Charlotte to get predictions of who wins today's matchup. The London, England product was a rebound shy of a double-double and decided to write the story perfectly as he scored the first basket of the game for Virginia Tech and the last one. Not only is Maddie playing her first season on the Virginia Tech women's soccer team, but she makes the adjustment to Virginia Tech as an international student.
Thanks, Thomas. Well, how about that? Over 100 points in the contest, and that Cal quarterback named Rogers is still throwing the pigskin up in Pittsburgh, just like we're about to throw the pigskin down in Blacksburg. Ain't that right, Landon?
Yep. Christmas came early for the St. Cloud Rocks as they win at 8-5 on Elf Night over the Minot Hot Tots. The winner of this matchup, well, they get the number 1 seed in Duke tomorrow if they get the victory.
Well, get your popcorn ready. It'll be a 9 p.m. movie inside of Castle Coliseum. We'll have the call for 3304 Sports.
When organizing a sporting event, there's a list of necessities, like a game to play, a place to play it, people to participate in it, and if there's teams, some way to tell who's who. But in 2007, in a matchup against Georgia Tech, 4-star Virginia Tech players were missing a key component of their uniform, their jerseys. So ahead of another matchup between Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech this weekend in Atlanta, let's take a look back at one of the oddest stories in college football history, now known as Jerseygate. To start the 11th month of the year, an 11th ranked Virginia Tech team traveled down to Bobby Dodd Stadium. But on the team bus from the hotel, 4-star Hokies heard some very surprising news. Your jerseys are missing. Surely this couldn't be the case, but wouldn't you know, when they got to the locker room, the jerseys of quarterbacks Sean Glennon and Tyrod Taylor, along with star secondary members Cam Chancellor and Brandon Flowers, were completely vanished. So, with the team ready to start warm-ups, they needed a band-aid to the problem. So what did they do? They received practice jerseys of the opposition, Georgia Tech. While a temporary solution to the problem, these weren't going to cut it. So they started an arts and crafts montage straight out of a 2000s comedy by using the magic of a Sharpie to nix out the Yellow Jackets text and the Russell logo, replacing it with a hand-drawn swoosh and a personal touch by writing their last names on the back of the jersey. Now let's put the spotlight on quarterback Sean Glennon, who was nearly a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket himself. And here he was about to start against them in their jersey. Not only did he wear the enemy's colors, but he carved up the Yellow Jackets defense, throwing for nearly 300 yards and a pair of deep strikes to help the Hokies win it 27-3. So Glennon had a little fun in his makeshift uniform, but what happened to the original 4 jerseys? Well, we don't officially know, and Mr. Holmes has not been answering my calls. But although we don't know where the uniforms went, we do know forever where to look for one of the oddest storylines in college football history.
Chandler Morris trots out to the field for Virginia to lead an offense who has a 14-point cushion over Virginia Tech as the Cavaliers lead it 14-0. 11:08 left to go in the third quarter of action in Scott Stadium. Morris all alone in the backfield, but he motions in Jamari Taylor, who joins him at the right hip. Trips left in terms of receivers for Virginia. Taylor gets the call right up the middle, wrapped up by a couple of Hokies. Cody Heisman, the defensive lineman, in on the play to make a stop, but Taylor pushed forward for a couple. He's the go-to guy for Virginia, leads the ACC in attempts and total rushing yards this year. They gave him 3 on the carry. He gets the call again, trying to bounce outside. Can't get too far before he's shot down at the 44 of Virginia Tech. 3rd and 3 after the 4-yard scamper by Taylor. Cavaliers keeping it up tempo, and the snap goes to Morris, who drops back to throw, checks it down to Taylor, who's pushing for the first and does. Eventually sent out of bounds by Jaden Keller, a linebacker for Virginia Tech, but Taylor found himself open in the flat and made the rest happen himself.
Another really solid drive from UVA. They're just doing a great job of moving the chains. They're not going for the big chunk plays. They're just taking the first downs as they come.
Taking what the defense is giving them, and they keep the offense going. Morris dropping back, chucking it down the left sideline. It's going to be hauled in, but out of bounds. As he was looking for one of his targets, Trell Harris, Thomas Williams was able to make the play and push him out of bounds, really, is what did it to him there. Harris held onto the ball, but Williams just able to push him out, forcing the incomplete pass. Morris lines up in the pistol. New back in Harrison Whaley behind him. He's who gets the football, has space to the left, but he is tripped up just from behind by Jaden Keller, the linebacker for Virginia Tech, again in on the play, but the Cavaliers continue to drive, setting up a 3rd and 5. Halfway to the first down, they go quickly. Morris goes to the right, and it's incomplete as it went off the hands of Cameron Courtney into the air. Nobody able to corral it. Isaiah Brown-Murray was near it for Virginia Tech. And how about this? A 4th and 5 from Virginia Tech's 23.
You have to wonder why UVA doesn't just go for 3. Maybe they try to get someone to jump off sides from Virginia Tech.
Have to see what the result is. They'd have the opportunity to make it a 3-possession game. It stands 14-0 Wahoos, currently leading Virginia Tech. Tight formation, bunch off to the left side for the Cavaliers. Here's the snap. Chandler Morris dropping back, checks it down, and it's caught. With room to go, Harris gets the first down and is brought down by Isaiah Cash near the 15, enough to move the sticks for Virginia. How about that gutsy call from Tony Elliott and co?
Yeah, well, Virginia Tech drops back in zone coverage, and no one's covering the middle of the field. So a quick little shallow crossing route, and all of a sudden, an easy first down for Trell Harris.
Fresh set of downs for Virginia after they go for it on the 4th and 5 with 8 and change to go in the third quarter. It's a 14-point advantage for the Hoos. Shotgun snap to Morris, dropping back to throw, fires it over the middle, intended for his tight end. It's incomplete. Looking for Ennis. It was broken up by Sheldon Robinson and Tyson Flowers. 2 safeties for Virginia Tech converged. Almost had an opportunity. We saw Ennis catch a touchdown earlier today from his running back, Jamari Taylor, on a trick play. Nearly had his 2nd of the day. Pistol formation for Chandler Morris, the quarterback for Virginia. Loaded front for Virginia Tech. Handoff goes to Whaley, cuts to the left side, brought down by a whole crew of Hokies near the 10-yard line, about halfway to the sticks. He's exactly that, which they give him 3rd and 5 with 8.5 to go in the third quarter. Virginia leading Virginia Tech 14-0. Cavaliers with a chance to make it a 3-possession game. Whaley lines up at the left hip of Chandler Morris. Twins off to the right. One receiver off to the left for the Wahoos. Hand off to Whaley, but he is brought down in the backfield. Cody Heisman makes the strong play. The North Dakota State transfer for Virginia Tech forces a 4th and 4, and the special teams unit appears to be trotting out to the field for Virginia. Chance to make it a 3-possession game as Will Bettridge, the kicker for the Cavaliers, tries to make it 17-0 with this upcoming attempt. Bettridge lines up, spots it up with the right leg. It's up, and it's through. Virginia up 17-0 over Virginia Tech.
This past week, an individual broke a pair of records on the diamond. And no, I didn't drop the vinyl again. Let's hear from Hayden Tolbert for more on who's on the top of the pecking order in Blacksburg. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're still 4 months out from the big dance known as March Madness. And although the college football playoff expanded to 12 teams, it doesn't quite have the same anyone's championship to win type of magic, leaving football fans asking for more. Well, if you open your eyes and maybe your weekend plans, you'll find that starting this weekend, the hunt for a Division II or Division III championship begins for over 70 teams. Just like its spring counterpart, there are Cinderellas to fall in love with and underdogs who snuck their way in with a last-minute ticket. With 32 teams in Division II's bracket and 40 in Division III, the possibilities are endless. So let me take you to Super Region 2 of Division II football and introduce you to my pals Valdosta State and North Greenville, who just like the Grinch did to Christmas, stole a bid. Well, I have to completely agree, Taylor. The forecast in Blacksburg is calling for 20 to maybe even over 30 inches of snow this weekend, a wide range. But Virginia Tech men's basketball has had some razor-thin margins this season at the final buzzer. Alex Kuchenmeister has more on the heroics and the heartbreak the team has weathered this season. After losing all-time great Emma Lemley, the team has seen an indescribable step up from their returners in the circle. How does one go from not playing at all last year to becoming the key piece of the ACC's top pitching staff? Meet Bree Carrico.
But sharing the honor with her, Izzy Engel of Notre Dame. Doesn't get much better than a hat trick against Virginia Tech.
With that thrilling comeback against Clemson, Virginia Tech is riding a 4-game win streak in ACC play. Can the chemistry in Castle continue for Megan Duffy's squad? Our own Kayla Bogdan has more on the elements which have set the table for strong results this year.
And when you turn to the defensive end, Aaron Floyd in net for the Louisville Cardinals provided a shutout performance against the NC State Wolfpack.
Andy, you mentioned their signal caller. They're going with Jiren Chiave Sangapolatele. And as
how much did you practice you a raise?
Yeah.
Press the applause button.
In the end, outs are outs, no matter where they occur in the game. There's 21 outs to play with in each game, and Carrico makes sure the opponent's recess ends early. Whether it's in the first or in extras, the Hokies can count on Carrico. Yeah, it's been a great season for Virginia Tech women's basketball. While 19 of the 21 wins for them have been double-digit victories, Virginia Tech baseball has had Hokies fans on the edge of their seats in the 9th inning or beyond. Our own Landon Weaver is here to take you through the roller coaster that was last weekend's series against Rutgers. Critics may wonder if they have what it takes to make a run, but I have one response. They have been ready.
Let's go.
Let's go. That's some fun right there.
That was